Did you know that our diaphragm is shaped kind of like a dome underneath our rib cage? And if we're not breathing with our diaphragm, it could cause all sorts of problems like neck, shoulder, torso, and even lower back pain. In this video, which is the first of a new series called Muscle of the Month, we look at what the diaphragm is, where it's located, and how you should be breathing to reduce some of these problems that I've just mentioned. Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the founder and principal therapist of Leighton Sports Massage, an award-winning sport and remedial massage therapy clinic in London. In this channel, I share simple tips on self-care and how your body works so you can hopefully get some help for your day-to-day aches and pains. Today is the first video in a new series called Muscle of the Month. Every month, I'll be looking at a different muscle in the body that is either misunderstood or not very well known, and look at what you need to know to be able to function better in your day-to-day life. In this video, I will be showing a picture of a drawing of the diaphragm. So if you are a bit squeamish about anatomy, this might not be the best one for you. I'm also going to be talking about some advice about breathing, and bear in mind, as with any advice that I give, it will vary from person to person, and there will probably always be at least one person to whom this doesn't apply. So please use common sense. Please don't do anything that I say if it goes against the advice that you're getting from a healthcare professional who's seeing you directly. Never do anything if it causes pain, and if you're not sure about anything, stop doing it until you have the opportunity to go and speak to a healthcare professional who can look at your situation specifically. Now, the diaphragm is our primary breathing muscle. It's shaped like a dome when it's relaxed, and when it contracts, it flattens. So you can see right here is a picture. It goes on top of the liver and the stomach. So when it flattens, it's pushing the liver and stomach down. Now, some people think that the diaphragm is the front of the abdomen, and this is not true. And I even saw a diagram in one of the top running websites that showed the diaphragm as being the front of the stomach. So bear in mind, it's not the front of the stomach, it's underneath the rib cage in a dome shape. So what happens when the diaphragm contracts is it creates a vacuum so that air gets pulled into the lungs. Unfortunately, not everybody can contract their diaphragm down to create space in their lungs. The most common reason that this happens is because for our diaphragm to come down, our organs have to go somewhere, right? So if you've ever watched a baby or a young child laying on their back, sleeping and breathing, you notice that their abdomen kind of comes out and in a little bit as they breathe. The reason for this is that as the diaphragm contracts, the organs get pushed out a little bit and they get pulled back in as the diaphragm relaxes. So you can probably imagine that when we're sitting in a slouched position and squishing all of the stuff that's inside of our abdomen, the diaphragm doesn't really have anywhere to go. It might be contracting, but it's contracting against all of the resistance from the rest of the things that are in your torso. So what happens when the diaphragm can't contract properly? We have other muscles that are accessory muscles of respiration that are supposed to be there to help give us extra capacity when we're exercising, or basically when we're exerting ourselves. So that may be anything from running to the bus to running a marathon. What happens though is that a lot of the time, because we can't contract our diaphragm the way that it's supposed to, these accessory muscles of respiration that are only supposed to be used as extra help sometimes become our default muscles of respiration. And one of the most common ones is our scalenes. That's in our neck. Can be another muscle of the month. Let me know if you'd like to learn about them in the comments. But our scalenes will lift up the rib cage to try and create some air in the ribs for some space in the ribs for some air to come in. Now over time, since they're being overused, that can lead to tension, compression of the neck, forward head position, which kind of takes us down the cascade, down the back of the body. Another reason that we tend to not breathe into the diaphragm, other than kind of squishing ourselves with poor seated posture, is that when we are stressed, we tend to tense our muscles and sometimes we hold our breath. So if you're tensing your abdominal muscles, there's no space for your stomach to expand slightly. Now, I just want to be clear here. I'm not talking about going like turning into a giant pot belly and then all of your abdomen coming in. You don't need that much release. It's probably only going out about, I'd say that much, maybe that when you're taking a really deep breath. But when we're tensing our stomach as a kind of protective measure from stress, again, our diaphragm isn't contracting into the bottom of the rib cage to create space for the lungs, and we start overworking all of these other muscles. Now, if you need help how to sit at a desk, I do have a desk posture checklist, which I'll link in the description for this video. You can download it and print it out, and it kind of shows you how to hold the different parts of your body in the right position to help with your posture. Stress is another topic, which maybe another video. So I've got a couple of ways that you can try to improve your breathing on your own. Number one, try to picture your diaphragm. So that's why I've included a picture, which I'll put up again here. Picture that dome underneath your rib cage and imagine it contracting and pulling down. And that as it's pulling down, it's pushing your liver and your stomach and your intestines down so that they come out maybe a little bit so that there's space for your lungs. And then when you exhale, imagine that it's relaxing back up into a dome. And very importantly, imagine that you can feel your diaphragm relaxing. The diaphragm also performs a function of stabilizing your core. I don't know if you've ever noticed sometimes you'll hold your breath like when you're trying to do something. It's because it performs part of function in the whole core of the body kind of stability. So your diaphragm can be tight. So when you exhale, relaxing the muscle, you will feel, or hopefully you'll feel the diaphragm relaxing a little bit as it comes back into the dome shape. When you exhale, try not to push the air out. So don't try not to go like you're really forcing air out of your body. Try more to just let it go out. Like imagine like air slowly going out of a balloon, like. So that's one way to practice breathing. Another way to practice is that you can put your hands on your abdomen and imagine, focus on letting your stomach come out and in under your hands, or imagine that you're breathing into your hands. Now, for some people, your abdominals will be so tight that this just isn't possible for you. If that's the case for you, I would highly recommend that you go see a massage therapist or a physiotherapist who is well-versed in the breathing muscles and how all the musculature around the abdomen works. Ideally, someone who has a good understanding of the visceral organs as well. And obviously, all the therapists at my clinic have good knowledge of the breathing muscles because it's pretty foundational to a lot of problems that we can get in our upper body. Now, I would love to know what you thought of the diaphragm of this. I'd love to know what you think of this series of the Muscle of the Month. If there are any muscles that you'd like me to include on my list next month in the series, I'm planning on looking at the hamstrings. And if you're surprised about anything that I've taught you about the diaphragm, if you thought it was on the stomach, or if you didn't realize that it was a dome, or how far up it went, or just anything that you think about this video today, I would love to hear it. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like for me and subscribe to the channel so that you're notified as we release more videos. Don't forget the link to the desk posture checklist is below in the description to help you know how you're supposed to be sitting at your desk. And feel free to share it with anyone you know who may be suffering from neck and shoulder pain that could be related to their breathing. Thank you so much for watching, as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.